Right now, battery company Energizer announces plans to move its Vermont operations to Wisconsin. And there's now a criminal investigation into how the Russia probe started. We'll have the latest from Capitol Hill.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at noon.
Good afternoon, I'm Mark Kane. We start with breaking news into the Channel 3000 Alert Center. University of Wisconsin System President Ray Cross plans to retire. He announced those plans today. 71-year-old Cross worked 42 years in higher education, including the last 5 as the UW System President. He will continue to serve as president until his successor is found through a national search. In a release, Cross said, quote, "Serving as president of the UW System has been the most rewarding work of my life. I believe there is no better investment for the state of Wisconsin than the University of Wisconsin System." Now to the weather. Hattie McLean is in the Weather Center on this Friday. Got to keep track of who's over there.
Yeah,
cool
I brought
and sunny.
The sunshine today, so glad to be here today. We have sunny skies, cool temperatures this morning, but a nice warm up for the afternoon. Take a live look at the WISC-TV Skycam. Looking to the east, skies are clear here. Temperatures are warming pretty rapidly over the last couple of hours. We're up to 45 now here in Madison and Janesville. Still 41 in the Dells, but 45 in Mineral Point as well as Platteville. Our temperatures over the next 12 hours will flirt with 50 degrees here in Madison this afternoon. May see some 50-degree ratings to the south. Temperatures, though, will drop pretty quickly through the evening hours. We're already back into the 30s by 9 p.m. And that's your first alert forecast.
All right, Hattie, thank you. We'll check back in a few minutes. New and new, the Middleton Cross Plains School District is responding to a racial segregation incident. The district says last week during a math and literacy test for 9th and 10th graders, a teacher separated students by race and ethnicity. Superintendent Dr. Dana Montague called the incident wholly unacceptable and said in a statement, quote, "All of our students deserve an inclusive, nurturing, and supportive environment, and we realize the negative impact this has on our students and families. These actions are intolerable and do not respect our beliefs or who we want to be as a district." The teacher involved was placed on leave the day after the incident, and the district is investigating. A Milwaukee father who told police his 4-year-old daughter found his loaded gun and accidentally shot them both has been charged. Prosecutors say 33-year-old Miles Kovac is actually the one who fired the gun. His daughter suffered a gunshot wound to her foot, and Kovac was treated for a graze wound. He was charged with child neglect resulting in great bodily harm, obstructing an officer, and possessing a gun as a felon. Energizer says it's closing a manufacturing facility in Vermont and moving it to Wisconsin. In a short statement, the Energizer official said the facility in Bennington, Vermont would be moving to a company facility in Portage, Wisconsin. It says the battery company is making significant investments to better utilize existing facility and reduce complexity in operations. It's unclear how many people work at the plant and what it would mean for jobs here. Today is the deadline for United Auto Workers Union members to vote on a tentative agreement with General Motors to end the ongoing strike. The deadline is 4 p.m. Right now, the tally stands at about 60% in favor and about 40% opposed. The 4-year contract would deliver pay increases, keep health care costs the same, provide bonuses, and give workers making less money a path to work their way into upper wage jobs. The big issue for GM workers was a plan to close 4 U.S. plants. Every U.S. intelligence agency agrees Russia interfered in the 2016 presidential election. But President Trump wants to know why the FBI began its investigation in the first place, and Attorney General William Barr is personally overseeing the investigation into its origins. Bofta Yaman has more details from the White House.
President Trump has long insisted the investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 election was meant to keep him from winning the White House. And now the Justice Department has opened a criminal investigation into that probe.
Every American has a right to know whether or not the Obama Justice Department was pursuing political goals.
The criminal investigation allows the DOJ to subpoena witness testimony and documents and impanel a grand jury to possibly file criminal charges.
If somebody has nothing to hide about what they were doing leading up to the 2016 election, then they have nothing to worry about.
House Committee Chairman Jerry Nadler and Adam Schiff issued a joint statement saying these reports, if true, raise profound new concerns that the Department of Justice under Attorney General William Barr has lost its independence and become a vehicle for President Trump's political revenge. The new criminal probe allows the White House to go on the offensive at a time when they've been playing defense against the impeachment inquiry. Senior administration officials tell CBS News the White House believes it is losing the messaging battle over impeachment, so it's looking to bolster its communications team.
I talked to Chief Staff Mulvaney. I think they're working on getting a messaging team together.
So far, the biggest pushback is coming from Republican allies in Congress, including Senator Lindsey Graham, who has introduced a resolution condemning the House impeachment inquiry. Bofta Imam, CBS News, the White House.
And CBS News has also learned that lawyers for former National Security Advisor John Bolton are in discussions with the House committees running the impeachment inquiry about possibly testifying.
After you've cried and prayed and done all you can.
Longtime Maryland Congressman Elijah Cummings is being laid to rest today in Baltimore. His funeral is happening now. This is a live look at the minutes ago. Cummings died last week at the age of 68 due to complications from long-standing health issues. Yesterday, his body laid in state at the U.S. Capitol, the first African-American lawmaker to receive that honor. Back in our area, the Door County Maritime Museum has reached its $5.5 million goal to add a wealth of new exhibits. A 10-story lighthouse decked out head to toe with exhibits is on the way. It's part of the museum's 50th anniversary celebration. Visitors will start at the top and work their way through 10 stories of displays down to the bottom. Exhibits like shipwrecks of Door County will move into the new structure, and other new displays will take its spot.
It will tell in greater depth and detail the story of Door County and the Great Lakes and the maritime history that is really all of our shared and collective maritime history.
The addition will nearly double the museum's space. Former Packers wide receiver Donald Driver has been named one of the 26 finalists for Black College's 2020 Football Hall of Fame. These selections are made by a 12-member selection committee composed of journalists, commentators, historians, former NFL managers, and football executives. The inductees will be announced on November 14th. This weekend, the Badgers will try to bounce back from a loss to the Illini. The 13th-ranked Badgers take on 3rd-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes. That game is tomorrow. We'll have live coverage from Columbus today on News 3 Now. Kickoff tomorrow is at 11 a.m. And the Milwaukee Bucks are starting their season with a win. The team was on the road in Houston to play the Rockets, who have both James Harden and Russell Westbrook this year. But we have Giannis, who came up big time in this game with 30 points, 13 rebounds, and 11 assists for the triple-double. The Bucks managed to overcome a 16-point deficit at one point to win 117-111. They're back in Milwaukee tomorrow, hosting the Miami Heat at 4 o'clock. And there's more to come on News 3 Now at noon. Up next, we'll see what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
We've all heard of Meatless Mondays, but after today's segment, you might start hearing more about Tasty Thursdays. When we think of fresh veggies growing, we typically think of huge sunny fields loaded with rows of plants brimming with everything from ears of corn to vine-ripe tomatoes, because that's the norm. But a few years ago, I went to a mushroom farm and saw how mushrooms grew. Let me tell you, it was totally the opposite of what we were used to. They grow indoors in what looks like barracks, and rather than sunshine, it was dark, as in really dark. But the one story that stood out to me was the history of portobello mushrooms. You see, these start out as cremini mushrooms, and if the farmer didn't pick them fast enough, they would grow huge, and then they were considered almost inferior. But when their meaty goodness was discovered, they went from scraps to stardom. Believe it or not, it only took a few days to grow from this to this. And when we saute them, along with some onions and top them off with sliced provolone, just like a steak sandwich, get ready for some good eating. You see, the combo of the meaty mushrooms, the melted cheese, and the toasted French bread makes these irresistible. The recipe for our portobello steak sandwich is online now, so you can enjoy a fresh produce pick that's grown in the dark. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a different way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
All right, Howard, thank you. Coming up next at noon, we're seeing seasonably cool temperatures this weekend. Hattie will have your first alert forecast next. A busy week of earnings reports wraps up, and a costume contest that has beer lovers facing their fears. Mark Liverman has your Money Watch report.
Wall Street wraps up another big earnings week. Verizon reported higher than expected earnings, thanks in part to a boost in subscribers to its postpaid mobile plans. The nation's largest cell phone carrier saw a profit of $5.19 billion for the third quarter. Facebook launches its News tab today. The news section in its mobile app will display headlines selected by journalists, and news organizations will be paid for the use of their material. The social network has long been at odds with news publishers who say Facebook benefits from sharing their stories without paying for them. 3 major drug chains have pulled some Johnson & Johnson baby powder from store shelves. CVS, Rite Aid, and Walmart are not selling 22-ounce bottles of the product. The move is tied to Johnson & Johnson's recall of 33,000 bottles. The FDA found trace amounts of asbestos in a single bottle purchased online. And Natural Light is getting into the Halloween spirit with a contest to help beer lovers overcome their fears. Natty's inviting customers to dress up as a real fear, like student loan debt, going bald, or moving back in with your parents for a chance to win 10 grand. Natty wants to see the costumes on Instagram or Twitter using the hashtags NattyScaries and contest. And that's your CBS Money Watch report. For more, head to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Mark Liverman.
Mark, thank you. At the noon hour, the Dow Industrial is up 182 points, the NASDAQ up 51, and the S&P 500 up 13.5. Q106 Farm Director Pam Yankee out of the radio barn today, so here are your farm numbers. Time now for the weather. Patty's out on the patio. The sun is shining, a good chance to see the fall colors.
That is true. Fall color is near peak here across southern Wisconsin. So if you're wondering, here is the latest report from the Department of Tourism. We have past peak for much of central and northern Wisconsin, but here in southern Wisconsin, that's where the best colors can be found right now. Madison is near peak and all surrounding areas as well. So a perfect chance this afternoon to get out and enjoy some of those fall colors. The red maples are really putting on a show right now. And we do have some rain in the forecast coming later on Saturday. So today would be the best day to get out and look at some of that color. Here's a live look from the WISC-TV sky camera. Looking east from the station, you can see just a little bit of cloud cover in that shot to the south and east this morning. Here's a wider view of what's happening across the area. There are some clouds just clipping southeastern Wisconsin due to a pretty large storm system that is to our south and east this morning. Take a look at what's going to happen as we go through the next 24 to 48 hours. That storm system is going to get a little more organized and lift northward. So starting Sunday afternoon, look for an increase in the clouds across southern Wisconsin. Forecast models are bringing some of that rain into especially southeastern Wisconsin. Now, may clip the Madison area through the evening hours, but then come to an end pretty quickly overnight. So we return to dry weather early on Sunday. Here's where that storm system is right now. You can see some pretty widespread moisture along the Gulf Coast states, also some thunderstorm activity as well. Again, that rain will lift north over the next 24 hours. But until then, things stay pretty quiet around here. No rain in our forecast today. Take a look at temperatures across the upper Midwest. We are in the 40s here. 50s aren't too far to the south through central and southern Illinois. Temperatures are in the 50s right now. It's actually a little bit warmer to the west as well. 48 in Minneapolis as well as Sioux Falls. A closer look at those numbers here in southern Wisconsin, and we have 45 right now in Madison and Mineral Point. 47 this hour in Prairie du Chien. Still a little chilly up in the Dells with 41. Janesville is at 45 as well. Now, your future track forecast model will show you lots of sunshine through the afternoon hours. Again, it's going to be pretty quiet with a light west wind. Temperatures will be close to 50 by the time we get to the high a little bit later on this afternoon. Now, with clear skies and light winds this evening, expect temperatures to drop back pretty quickly. For any football games tonight, temps will be in the low 40s as the game starts in most spots, but they will drop back into the 30s pretty quickly. So bundle up if you're headed to a football game tonight. We'll start out with dry weather tomorrow. Temperatures in the lower 30s, right around the freezing point. But again, an increase in the clouds is expected. Latest forecast models are keeping that rain a little bit further to the east, just brushing us here in Madison. So if you're west of Dane County, chances are you'll stay dry throughout the entire day tomorrow. East of Dane County, though, better chance for some rain. Total rain amounts, though, are going to be on the light side, with most locations picking up less than 1/4 of an inch. Here's a look at your extended forecast. We do climb into the 50s for the weekend on Saturday and Sunday, but then a reinforcing shot of cold air comes, and it looks like we're going to end October on a pretty chilly note. Mark, we could even see a few snowflakes on Tuesday and Wednesday, and it does look to stay cold right through Halloween. So adjust the costumes accordingly.
Well, it's almost November. You know, it's about time.
That's true. That's true.
All right. Thanks, Hattie.
You're welcome.
Next at noon, an Idaho animal rescue organization saves a dog stranded on a cliff and how the community stepped in to help. Stay with us. It was a story that captivated a community. A dog trapped on a southern Idaho cliff for more than 5 days, rescued by heroes on a passionate mission. The video going viral. Kelsey Soto has the story.
That small white dot is a dog.
He was ready to come down.
The dog, later named Clifford, awaiting his heroes from the Friends Forever Animal Rescue coming to save him.
It was pretty intense, especially getting up there, and then it was even more so getting him down after having to try and gain his trust and pass him down from one person to the next, kind of to get him down.
Volunteers got the call October 13th and quickly made their way out to Bliss, where they found the dog trapped on a steep cliff.
If we're not there doing it, who's going to be doing it?
Many other agencies, including law enforcement, were unable to help, but Dave Wright and his crew knew their experience with rock climbing would come in handy.
So I've done years of scrambling, peak scrambling, alpine climbing, things like that. So we went in with safety in mind.
The drone video of Clifford quickly went viral, the community jumping into action to donate money for his vet bills and trying to help find an owner.
You know, it's the nature of Facebook. As much as people hate that F word, it has saved literally millions of animals.
The nonprofit relies heavily on donations, volunteers, and foster homes, since they don't have a physical storefront to keep the animals like a shelter.
We could just use help in transporting to and from the vets and, you know, getting people going and doing home checks and going and doing just little things all the time.
Clifford is now recovering from some superficial wounds at a foster home in Twin Falls.
An extremely gratifying thing that we do. It keeps us going because, you know, to be honest, there's a lot of stress involved.
But most importantly, he's learning to trust again.
There's stories that don't have happy endings. There's times we show up a minute too late. But it's the happy endings, that's why I do it.
And that was a happy ending. All right, Hattie, one final check of the forecast.
If you're headed out to the zoo, a little chilly at the zoo this afternoon, but lots of sunshine to greet you. Temperatures will be climbing through the 40s, just a little bit more yet, to 49 for the high today. A light west wind is expected. Here's a peek at that weekend forecast one more time. Most of the day on Saturday will be dry. The chances for rain are really especially east of Madison and during the evening hours. Otherwise, look for highs in the 50s.
All right, that's our time. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here at 4.